Across fiction, there are countless warriors who chase strength, but only a few who redefine it. Today, we're diving into the power of a character whose entire existence revolves around breaking limits. A man who turns impossibilities into warm-ups. The Saiyan who rose from a low-class fighter to a god-level threat. Son Goku, the Super Saiyan. In this video, we're going to explore Goku's complete power scaling from his earliest days in Dragon Ball all the way to the domain of gods and angels. By the end, you'll understand exactly how strong, how fast, and how broken Goku actually is, and how far his power reaches in modern scaling. Our first layer of Dragon Ball's cosmology is the human realm, also called the living world, or simply the universe. This is the realm where humans, Saiyans, Namekians, and every other mortal species live. Dragon Ball guidebooks, and even the anime's and manga-own narration, state that this universe contains infinite space. In other words, the living world isn't a small, closed celestial bubble. It's infinitely expansive in all directions. And as we all know, modern physics treats time as the fourth axis, the temporal dimension that records events. Space cannot function without time, and time cannot function without space. Together, they form a complete four-dimensional space-time continuum, a realm with infinite 3D space plus 1D of time. This places the human realm firmly in the universal plus tier. Next, we move to the demon realm, a completely separate dimension that exists on the reverse side of the living world. While the human realm is governed by physical laws, the demon realm is a world where magic dominates, shaping the environment and empowering its inhabitants. Guidebooks material describes the demon realm as being comparable in size to the living world. That means we're not dealing with a pocket space or a small magical zone. It's an entire parallel dimension on the same cosmological scale as the main universe. A realm equal in size, structure, and cosmological weight to the infinite living world. Our next cosmological layer is the Dead Zone, a space created by Garlic Jr. during the events of the movie. According to guidebooks, the Dead Zone is described as a superspace, a higher dimensional construct that goes beyond the standard four-dimensional space-time. It behaves like a dimensional black hole, a void where no light escapes and where both body and soul are frozen the moment they enter. This makes it far more than a simple pocket dimension. The Daisenshu explains that a superspace is a realm with more than 4 dimensions, meaning the Dead Zone is at least fifth-dimensional, existing above the normal structure of the living world and demon realm. In short, the Dead Zone isn't just a trap. It's a higher dimensional prison that exceeds the foundational space-time of the Dragon Ball universe. After the Dead Zone, there exists another higher dimensional layer revealed in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. During the clash between Gogeta and Broly, their power distorts space-time so violently that they tear through the boundary of the universe itself and break into a completely separate dimension. This realm isn't just another pocket space. It's described as both a super-dimensional and extra-dimensional world, terms that, in Japanese production materials, are used specifically for higher dimensional spaces beyond standard 4D reality. The movie's staff even explained that they tried to represent this higher dimensional realm using CGI built on mathematical models humans can't truly comprehend. The volume and structure of this dimension exceed what 3D rendering can portray, forcing them to approximate a space that was intended to be above normal space-time. The fact that Gogeta and Broly had to disintegrate the dimension itself to escape shows the magnitude of power required, and why the universe was stated to be unable to handle their clash. This places the Broly fight bare minimum 5D range, a low, complex, multiversal level realm that exists above the living world, demon realm, and baseline space-time. Now we rise above the mortal and demonic worlds to a realm that exists beyond conventional space-time, the afterlife. The afterlife contains heaven, hell, and the Enma realm, and is described as transcending the dimensions of the world below it. It's separated from the living world not just by distance, but by space and time itself, and uniquely, it has no concept of time. Heaven alone is stated to be comparable in size to the living world, which is already infinite. And since heaven is only one part of the afterlife, this means the entire afterlife, including hell, which stretches endlessly across both sides of the macrocosm, is likewise infinite in extent. Structurally and conceptually, this places the afterlife above the living world and demon realm, pushing it into the fifth to sixth dimensional range, a higher plane of existence built on rules that surpass the physical universe. Beyond even the afterlife lies the Kaioshin realm, a plane that exists outside the entire macrocosm. It floats around the main cosmological structure like a moon and is said to be 1/10 its size, yet completely separate from the rest of reality. In addition, the Grand Kaios realm is stated to reside in a different dimensional space, and supplementary material describes Goku racing with the East Kai inside a separate dimension entirely. These statements together position the Kaioshin realm as an even higher plane, a realm operating on 6th to 7th dimensional principles, beyond both the afterlife and all lower worlds. Now that the cosmology is established, we move to Goku's actual scaling during the Battle of Gods. When Goku attained SSG, he clashed with a suppressed Beerus. Their battle didn't just shake planets or galaxies, it shook the entire macrocosm. Statements and visuals confirm that their clash threatened to destroy the universe from its very edge, meaning the full structure of reality, the living world, the afterlife, and the boundaries between them. But Goku didn't just match Beerus for a moment, he absorbed Super Saiyan God's power. And in their later rematch moments, Goku, as a Super Saiyan, was able to overcome Beerus's energy nullification, a technique that casually erased power, capable of destroying the whole universe. The fact that Goku's energy surpassed and resisted this is direct proof of his leap beyond standard universal levels. With the macrocosm being a layered, higher dimensional structure, Goku's divine forms, from SSG to SSB, scale above baseline space-time and into the complex multiversal range.
For our final bonus section, we explore the highest-end metaphysical interpretations within Dragon Ball, the places where the cosmology steps beyond conventional dimensions. We begin with the otherworld, afterlife, a realm repeatedly described as fundamentally different from the lower worlds. On several occasions, the afterlife is shown to lack the concepts of normal space and time. One explicit example is the case of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who cannot maintain the form because the realm's time does not flow in the same way as the living world. His energy burn rate changes, not because he is weaker, but because the basic laws of temporal existence do not apply. Guidebooks and supporting dialogue further characterize the afterlife as a metaphysical domain, a plane that transcends the dimensions of the universe below it. From the perspective of the living world, its higher dimensional and abstracted structure is literally unperceivable. This creates an important implication. If a realm exists outside lower dimensional space-time, operates without space or time as concepts, and is described as metaphysically beyond dimensionality, then it occupies a level consistent with outerversal-type cosmology in power-scaling terms. In other words, the otherworld isn't just bigger or higher dimensional, it is a qualitatively superior plane of reality. Next, we explore the second major branch of Dragon Ball's higher-end metascaling, summit scaling. This focuses on epistemic truth, divine authority, and transcendence of conceptual structures. We begin with Goku Black, whose position as a Kaioshin grants him an epistemic view over creation. As a Supreme Kai, he is stated to oversee all things within the macrocosm, which includes the living world, the afterlife, the demon realm, and the higher dimensional structures above them. This makes his claim of having seen all things analytically true within his political and divine role, because the macrocosm contains every layer we previously discussed, including metaphysical realms that lack conventional space and time. His knowledge necessarily extends into the spatio-temporal metaphysics embedded within Dragon Ball's cosmology. This is further reinforced by the setting's Buddhist inspirations. Buddhism treats space, time, and causality as interlinked metaphysical constructs within samsara, meaning that anything capable of overseeing all of creation would by nature transcend those constructs. However, Goku Black eventually encounters something beyond even his totalized divine knowledge, the summit. The summit is framed as a plane that transcends his epistemic field, and since his epistemic field already includes domains that operate beyond space and time, anything above that by necessity lies in a fully outerversal concept-transcendent state. Goku Black is able to cut into the summit, a literal action demonstrating influence over a realm beyond his own full cosmological understanding. Cutting into an outerversal construct implies the capacity to affect something that exists outside all spatio-temporal concepts. This places Goku Black at the same outerversal tier we established for the metaphysical otherworld. And that concludes our breakdown of Son Goku's cosmological scaling, from 4D structures all the way to outerversal transcendence. We explored the realms, the dimensions, the metaphysics, the mythological inspirations, and the highest conceptual planes Dragon Ball has ever presented. Each one adds a new layer to understanding just how far Goku's power and narrative growth truly reach. Whether you take the conservative interpretation or the high-end metaphysical reading, one thing remains constant. Goku's strength is defined by evolution, and his evolution has no upper limit. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay powerful, and keep pushing beyond your limits.